Today we're going to be putting a seal kit in a general water pump that is on the Hood's trucks. This is going to look a little different than it would on your truck, and we're doing this on a bench. You can actually see the shaft sticking out on the pump, which you won't see in your truck obviously. But what we're going to do is, to make this a little easier, we have everything sitting right out in the open. Now, to take this apart quicker and make it so we can actually fit this on video, I'm going to use Air Tool to take the pump head off. But what we're going to start with is the bolts on your pump head. To change check valve, which we'll show you in another video, they're 30 millimeter. To change your packing, these are either 1/2 inch or 13 millimeter to remove them. So we're going to start with a 1/2 inch impact gun. Like I said, we're using the air impact gun just to make this a little quicker so we can show you. Alright, and what we're going to do is remove all 8 head bolts. And sometimes when you're pulling the head of the pump off, you can run into issues where it may be a little harder to get off, and other times it may come right off in your hands. This pump has been in service for a little while, so she may come right apart if we're lucky here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm pulling on the bottom of the pump and the side of the pump, and just the head will slide right off in our hands. Alright, so we have the pump off, the head off. One of the first things we're going to look at before we continue here is we're going to look at your ceramic plungers. You have 3 ceramic plungers in your pump. We're going to make sure that there are no cracks. A crack in a ceramic plunger is going to look like a little line. It'll look like a little black or orange line. And it's easy for us to show this with the pump on the bench because I can lift it up to look at the bottoms of them too. And basically we're looking, we have no cracks at all. So then what we're going to do is I'm going to set the pump back down. And this is going to be the hard part. If you don't have the proper extraction tools, removing the cylinders from the head will be a little bit of a problem. The actual general pump tool looks like this. It's a little slide hammer. And basically what you would do is you would tap them in and tighten the handle in reverse, and it would extract the piston. See how easy that came out with the tool? But what we're going to do is, I'm assuming that you will not have this, so we're going to see if we can pull these out by hand. So we know this one's a little loose because I already loosened it. Alright, everything came right out. That's very good. This is what you hope will happen. This, the first piece that you see that is brass, that contains your low pressure seal. Your high pressure seal is farther down in the pump. That would be brown. And you see how torn up these are. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to try another one. Oh, got lucky again. Sometimes these are really hard to remove. Yep, and here, true to form, this one does not want to come out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do this to assume that we don't have the tool. So I'm going to use a pair of channel locks. You have to be very gentle with this. This is brass. We don't want to score it. So basically what I'm going to do is, on the beveled lip, I'm just going to try to grab it and gently turn it. And as you can see, she's coming up slowly but surely. And once you get it to a certain point, she should come right out. There we go. And then usually the brass retainer sealing the high pressure seal usually comes right out. That's not usually an issue. Alright, first thing we're going to do. You have 3 little black pieces. Basically they keep the high pressure cups expanded. So we're going to put them down. It's the flat spot with the little notches straight down and the bevel section up. We're going to do all 3 down. Then we're going to open our general pump seal kit, which on this particular general pump, it's a kit number K69. And what we're going to do is I'm going to put everything down in the head first, and then we'll attack the low pressure seal. Now, you saw how easy everything came out when we took it apart. Now watch how hard it is to get the new seal in. It's going to be a little bit of a battle. What you do is you put one side in, cock it slightly down. Now you can take, it's going to be a little strong fingers to push it down. Also what I do is, let's show you something else. Use a little product called penetrating oil. I'm just going to squirt down in the head to make everything go down a little bit easier. Now we have that sitting on a little angle, and I'm going to push it down till it seats. Then we're going to go to the next one, same thing. If you look down inside, the little expander's sitting farther down on this side, so I'm going to push the top section in so it goes down first. Now what we're going to do is just push that in until it sets all the way down. Make sure it's all the way down. Then we're going to do the same thing on the last one. And push that down. Then you're going to have 3 little caps that go on top of your high pressure seals. These kind of give the seal a little bit longer life. Now these are a little tricky too. You want to make sure that they go down right away. You see the little bevel down, and they should fit right on top without much of a struggle. Alright, then what we're going to do, we're going to take our brass retainers that hold our high pressure seals down, and we're going to take a look at these, and they have little holes top and bottom, and we're just going to line the holes with the holes, or get them as close as possible. So that's a weep to show you if your seals are starting to go bad, so we want to line the holes so that we'll get that weep effect when the seals are starting to go. So we're going to set them all in, make sure they're down. Alright, then what we're going to do, the last part that we have here, is our low pressure seals. Now they're already assembled. They already have that little expander piece in them already. So you want to make sure you never use these as your high pressure seal down in the pump. These only are your low pressure seal. And what we're going to do is, I use a little screwdriver for this. I'm going to get down right under the seal, and I'm going to pull that out toward me, and then she'll come right out. We'll take the new seal, and these push in very easily. We'll move on to the next one. Pop her out. And then the other new seal. We'll set that down. And now we're going to go with our last one. Oh, that one came out real easy. And we'll push that in. Now the last thing we have is little O-rings that seal your low pressure retainers. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to take that same little screwdriver, and we're going to try to get a piece to stick up just a little bit. Now we sprayed this with that penetrating oil, so it gets a little slippery, but we're going to remove that O-ring. We'll remove them on all 3. Get right under there, get that out. Now we'll replace them. I have them laying on the side over here so they didn't get damaged. We're going to just push that right around. so that sits in its little groove. And we'll go right to the next one, right around again so it sits in its little groove. And take my gloves off to get a little shredded here. And then we're going to do our last one. And we'll just push that down in the groove and wind it around. Now, we're going to want to make sure these are lubricated so that we don't cut those O-rings. So I'm going to spray them with a little penetrating oil. Spray the head with a little penetrating oil. Now also we're going to be ready to put everything back together. So I'm going to spray these pistons with a little penetrating oil, because now, even though you saw how easy everything came apart, it's not going to go back together the same way. Now I'm going to set these in, and then we're going to push these to try to get them to seal down, click in place. Now what I'm going to do, sometimes they give you a little fight here. I'm going to take a little rubber mallet and just tap that down. Now this is also going to be something you could probably use for this job as a rubber mallet, because you're going to probably have to tap this head back on. Now we have everything lubed. We have our cylinders lubed and our pistons lubed. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to try to get this back on there without too much trouble. Now, see how it clicked on that first level? That's through the low pressure seal. Remember, they were the little flimsier rubber seal. So the piston will go right through that. See, now I'm hitting a dead block because we're starting to go through that high pressure seal. So now this is where the rubber mallet's really going to come into play. I'm just going to give her a couple taps until our gap closes to an even level here between the housing and the head. And then we're going to stick our pump bolts back in. Now guys, there's also a science to this. Basically what we're going to do here, again, I'm making this easy by using an air tool. You will be using a ratchet. These have to be, if you don't have a torque wrench, we're probably going to say they have to be somewhat tight. Not over tight and not with a big ratchet.